What is up, everybody? Welcome in to another edition of This Weekend Phillies Baseball. I'm your host, James Scorza, with you, and with me, as always, is a group of companions on a very soggy afternoon across the Delaware Valley. Thunderstorms in the area. Hope everybody's safe and staying safe at home, and also on that everything about that too. Joey Marks and also Connor Ochuida will join us in just a little bit. I'm pretty sure he's doing a show right now to talk about the Phillies' upcoming matchup on his podcast of I think it's Philly Sports 215. But Joey, how's it going, man? How you doing?
Not bad, James. Not bad. Took two or three from the Braves. Definitely a bit of a rebound weekend. And all day I've been hearing thunder. It's like I'm hoping to hear a lot of thunder tonight from the ballpark.
Yeah, absolutely. As hang on a sec. I got to email Connor's. It's the link real quick. Okay, let's see.
So tonight the Phillies go against the Padres. So it's going to be interesting to see how they can continue to kind of strive forward. Having the Astros in the Braves series didn't go quite as we planned. I mean, 2-4 in those 6 games, and the way that they came off of the Houston series, I didn't know if they could hit the bottom of the barrel with a baseball. Basically, and it looked putrid. It looked
Yeah,
like lifeless.
yeah, it was. So hang on a sec. Shit. Okay. So yeah, I mean, this week that the Phillies had was probably one of the bizarrest weeks, especially for the fighting Phillies, especially what they had gone through. Overall, I mean, there's one of these things that I try to talk about with this Phillies team, especially, and I try to give it a little bit of cloud that they had during the week. But overall, I mean, this was probably one of the weirdest weeks to be a Phillies fan, especially with the Astros only scoring 1-1 in like a matter of 3 games, and also your pitchers like the Wheelers, the Rangers, Suarez's, and even like Christopher Sanchez, and even like there was a pitchers that were just dominate, just dynamic duo that they all had, and not giving them any runs to show for it. I mean, that's the one thing that was really the thing that really stuck out to me the most, though. But I think the thing that oh, here he is. Okay, cool. There he is. Hey, Connor, good to see you, pal.
Yep, good to be here.
Yeah, I apologize for sending it to you through the messenger. I forgot I got to email it to you next time. Sorry about that, pal.
No, you're good. You're good. Don't worry about it.
So, we were just talking about the recap of the Phillies that the Phillies had in store. Especially, I think this week was probably one of the weirdest weeks, like I said, to Joey. But overall, I mean, I guess I'll ask you the first question since I got you here, Connor. Overall, this week was this probably one of the weirdest weeks to ever say with this Phillies team, especially that not scoring. I mean, you're scoring big runs in that game against the Braves, but overall, I mean, only 2 runs to show for it in a matter of that week with Houston and Atlanta. I mean, that has to be, this could be one of the weirdest series as I ever could imagine with this Phillies team. So, what was your immediate reaction when you heard when you see about this team this week that the Phillies had, especially only not showing a lot of runs, but also showing a lot of pitcher? I mean, the pitchers are doing whatever they can, but overall, like how would you describe this week that the Phillies had?
Yeah, weird, like you said. Honestly, like the first part of well, obviously for the series in Houston
Mm-hmm.
and for the series against the Mets, like I was actually in Ocean City, so
Mm-hmm.
luckily I didn't have to watch that monstrosity. I would have probably like thrown stuff at my TV had I been subjected to that eyesore that was the series against Houston. Only one run in 3 games, which I heard on the broadcast and it circulated around social media that was the first time since something like 1900 that's happened to the Phillies. Like just an absolute putrid performance, and then um and then in your other 2 games against the Braves, leaving out the 13-run outburst on Friday. Like they just um they only scored 3 runs. Other than that 13 run like just slaughtering of the Braves. So it was definitely a weird week, but you'll take 2 or 3 against your division rivals, so that's always good.
Yeah, absolutely. Joey, same question to you. I mean, what? I mean, you think about this week that the Phillies had with this Astros team. I mean, not scoring a lot of runs. I kind of feel like it was either that the pitching was really, that the pitching was just too much for them, or they just gave up, or just the hitting was just dead silent again. And I think we're going to have a lot of those games coming forward, especially coming up tonight. Hopefully, when they get this game in with the Phillies and Padres tonight, depending on weather conditions that are going to be, especially with the thunderstorms and also with the rain delays and all that too. And I think it's a fireworks show tonight too. So I mean, that's going to be kind of crazy around where I live. So it's going to kind of feel like 4th of July a little bit before 4th of July. Show before the show, like John Kincaid would say. But so with this Phillies team, Joe, I mean, can we actually sit back for a second and just say, can they actually show me a little bit of effort in the last couple games? Because I feel like even Connor said, like, these last few games were like pulling your hair out, disintegrated baseball. But I mean, just seeing them try to hit 5-run homers again, it's like they continue to do this. Like, why is that?
Well, okay, so I'm going to back up a little bit. So about this past week, I'm going to take a quote from John Smoltz that he said on the telecast on Saturday, and that is, what happened to the Phillies in Houston, that's an aberration. That's not the norm. You're just talking about about a team that just hit good pitching. And we were lucky that our pitchers were up to the task too. So those 3 games, despite us not only scoring 1 run in those 3 games, all 3 games were gettable because it's not like the Astros smoked us by 6 or 7 runs. The starters have been the cornerstone of this team, and they have proven it day in and day out. I mean, we're past the halfway part of the season, and you would think, okay, maybe the starters start to drift away. Maybe they start to falter a little. And for a little bit, we kind of thought that with Luzardo and Sanchez. But, there was a stat that I read today about Ranger Suarez. And in the last 10 starts, he has gone he's got an ERA of 1.18. And this is a guy that goes deep into the games. So I think as long as this starting pitching is continuing to thrive, the hitting is going to come. And now I'm going to address your 5-run home run situation.
Sure.
They need to improve their runners in scoring position. They need to work on their situational hitting. I wouldn't say that they're all trying to hit the 5-run home run. They're just not hitting smart.
No. Smart's a word I would use too. Yeah.
And piggybacking off of Joe's point, I think that the situational hitting in that 5th inning on Sunday was pretty good.
It was, but they still left, like, basically on Sunday, they basically left more people on base than they should have. And that's been a bugaboo for the Phillies, not just this season, but for past seasons.
For years past.
Yeah, it's not as prevalent this year as it's been in other years. But when you're in close games against the Braves and you're like, we need this, and you can't deliver, it's the part where you start to wonder if this team has the clutch gene on their roster, because they make some clutch plays. However, when being able to put a team away, which they could have if they would have just scored even 2 of those 6 men that they left on base in scoring position on Sunday. If they would have scored 2 runs, it would have gave a lot more breathing room. That game literally went down to the last pitch and the last out. And the guy that hit the to the final out almost hit the ball out of the ballpark. And so there's some things that this team needs to kind of fix. And it's not the small ball. I know that people want to continue to say that. It's not small ball, it's situational baseball. Being smart when the opportunity presents itself. And Connor's right. In the 5th inning the other day, they did do ABC baseball, which is amazing. It's great. That's what I would want to see more of. Why do we have to just say that's where the answer to your question really is, James, is what do I want to see in the level of consistency? I want to see the level of consistency where they're hitting situationally smart.
Yeah, I agree. I think the other thing too that I stuck out to this too. I was trying to watch this. I think it was either Friday or Saturday, and I was trying to watch the game, and I said to myself, "Is that I think it was that 13 run that when they scored 13 runs on that Friday night, I was like, hey, they got it straightened out. I thought everything was all good, and then the next night they couldn't stop a nosebleed with Schwellenbach on the mound. I mean, yesterday it was a good outing by Ranger Suarez. I mean, you think about these games, the last couple games with this Phillies team, is that the pitching's not the problem. I mean, the starting pitching is doing its job. I mean, that's the most important key. The other thing is that if your starting pitcher is doing the jobs that is taken for the team to be better, you would have thought the hitting would do the same to help a little bit out with the starting pitching. Like, oh, my starting pitcher is doing a great job here and also pitching the gem. Like, I should be doing the same thing to help him, give him some runs across to make sure that it's not too uncomfortable for him. Like I said, all week. I mean, it felt like I was watching a repeat of the Flyers of the old days that the goaltender was stellar, but they only scored 1 or 2 goals a game. You know what I mean?
Let me keep something in mind, James, and I'm going to say this with as much conviction as I humanly can.
Sure.
But if the Phillies figure out how to do consistent, smart, situational hitting, and Dave Dombrowski improves this bullpen, this is a World Series championship caliber team. That's not an overstatement. That's not me, pontificating on the fact that they've gone to the World Series in the past with this core. No. That is me saying that they already have the long ball. We know that. If they get situationally smarter with their hitting and their starting pitching is lights out, if they get better bullpen pitching, I mean, there's not much deficiency left to fill that void. So, yeah, I say with conviction, if they could get smarter with their situational hitting and pick up pieces in the bullpen it doesn't have to be as good as the starters, but it needs to be better than what it is.
It
a
does.
lot better than what it is.
You know the funniest thing is too. I try to say this to myself too, with this Phillies team. It's that they could be a World Series team if the price is right. With, like I said, with Dombrowski doing what he can in the trade deadline. But then I look at other teams. Like I see Paul Skeens, for example. Look at it and see that he pitches a stellar outing. He goes 8 full innings and he gets a complete game shutout or something like that. And the team only scores maybe 1 or 2 runs, I mean, it's not like the Phillies are having a Paul Skeens effect, but in a way, it's like if he's on the mound, you should actually give him some run support. The same thing with Suarez yesterday, the same thing with Christopher Sanchez, and the list goes on and on about that too. But I want to see this team. Look, I understand it's humid out. It's summertime. It should be hitting season. It shouldn't be we shouldn't be shitting the bed like this early on in the season. As I mean, to this turning point, you should be also putting the one thing you should be doing is that you should start to hit their stride and say, okay, now it's hitting season. Now we got to find a way to. I mean, you don't have to hit a home run every chance you get, but just try to get on base every once in a while, just to show that this team is like capable, that they could make another World Series run. But look, I mean, the All-Star game is here before you know it.
Put it this way, James. There's a stat that you brought that I saw about Ranger prior to Sunday.
Yeah.
The Phillies hadn't given Ranger a run or a lead in 16 innings. I mean, that's death for like a starting pitcher. I mean, like not having your offense pick you up is, I mean, you start to kind of second guess and feel like you got to pitch perfect. And I don't want to screw with these starters. I want them to just continue to, turn the lights out on these other opposing teams' offense.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean, you have to give them run support too. That's what I'm saying. I mean, it's just that this Phillies team, they can hit the damn baseball. It's not like this is a like old school mentality about, oh, I got to see ball. I mean, like when you were like a young kid, obviously everybody here played baseball with your friends and all that too. The first thing you look at is you have to keep your eyes on the baseball and see see also where, I mean, you take your pitch and also where the pitch is made of. The day and age of baseball is so, I mean, the velocity is so, don't get me started with that because it's like the analytic stuff with baseball is so subpar. I swear. I mean, I remember there was days when I was watching this Phillies team and you see like Ryan Howard hit like a home run every once in a while, but he also found location where the baseball was every once in a while. Sure, he struck out once in a while, but like this day and age of baseball, it's like if it's not a 5-1, like I wouldn't say 5-1 homer, but if it's not like if maybe we should move on here because I got another rant here to talk about here too about this, and that is Kyle Schwarber. I mean, guys, I know it's June. I mean, we're at the end of June, and Kyle Schwarber not having himself a June type of month. Are we concerned about Kyle Schwarber, or I think this was just another bad month for the Phillies overall? Connor, I'll start with you first.
You're good. I'm not concerned with Schwarber in the slightest. I mean, power hitters go through slumps all the time. Like you mentioned Ryan Howard. For those that don't know, Ryan Howard was my favorite Philly of all time. He went through some months where he couldn't hit water that fell out of a boat, but then the next month he would just hit everything just to the moon and back. Like,
yeah, right.
It's just a thing with power hitters that you have to kind of live with, unfortunately. But Kyle Schwarber, one of the things that he's done really well is he's taken his base hits when they present themselves. So I wouldn't worry about the lack of home runs. I mean, he's still getting on base. He's still impacting the game from that DH spot. So,
that's a very good point.
Worry about it.
Yeah, actually, that's a very good point by you too. I mean, I think I probably confused I think I might have confused him with Trey Turner or maybe some other players that were in that same kind of feel. But yeah, you're right about that, Connor, because you think about that too, is that he actually is been effective. I mean, seeing him steal bases every once in a while, it's like, this is kind of like on Schwarber. Like I would never see Kyle Schwarber. I mean, this was like 3-4 years ago. I don't think he'll be stealing a base, because if it would look like a beer leaguer instead of an actual, turn into a beer leaguer, turning from beer leaguer to Jimmy Rollins a little bit at the same time too. But I think the question I should have asked is that since Dave Dabrowski was talking about this week about Kyle Schwarber being hopefully not on, well, I don't know about him being on the trade block here, but there's got to be a way that we have to keep him in every which way. I mean, am I right, Joe?
Yeah, and I had this conversation with a buddy of mine when he was over. We were watching one of the games, and Kyle Schwarber has made his intentions clear. He's not going to re-sign or have contract talks during the season. So they are going to have to wait to the end of the season. That does not mean that Dombrowski can't give him the contract he wants. This is the problem, though. Every home run he hits is adding money to that contract.
That contract goes up.
Oh, yeah.
High enough, my friend.
And here's my point of view. He's at 25 home runs and we're not even at the All-Star break yet. If this guy even hits 2 or 3 before the All-Star break, he'll be at 27 or 28. That means he's pretty much on pace for 50 or 60 home runs in a season.
Right.
This is a guy that, has been consistent with his power. And if anything, he's gotten better. The one thing that you brought up, he's got 8 stolen bases this year. And that's like an immense high for him in his career.
It is.
At this point in the season. Now, I would say the biggest asset that Kyle Schwarber would have is getting on base. It's not just hitting. It's just getting on base and passing the baton. This is where I feel like we miss Bryce Harper because Kyle Schwarber was a picture-perfect protector to Bryce Harper and vice versa. Because if Bryce Harper got on or Trey Turner got on in front of Kyle Schwarber, there's no way that Kyle Schwarber's not going to get a ball to hit. And I think that's part of the reason why Kyle has not been having the kind of Junes that he's been accustomed to. Is because he's not protected now. Bryce Harper needs protection, but also gives protection. And so you got to pick your poison. And the problem is, Kyle Schwarber's been really susceptible to not getting the pitches he wants because he doesn't have the type of protection that he would have ordinarily if Bryce Harper was in the lineup. So I think Bryce Harper is in the lineup tonight. We'll see how that goes as far as, the stop and go effects of a rain delay or not. And we'll see if Kyle Schwarber hits one out of the park.
Yeah, the thing that I thought about this too when I saw this during the week, and my dad brought it up perfectly with a friend of mine. We was talking about Dave Dombrowski talking about Kyle Schwarber saying that we don't want to lose him. It's like, usually when somebody says you don't want to lose him, translation is like, yeah, we like to keep him, but the bunny was too high or something like that. Like just a little far-fetched like the apple too far from the tree. But overall, I mean, you're right, Joe. I think the thing that Dombrowski has to do, especially, is that if you want to make a World Series run either this year or the next couple years, it has to start with Schwarber. You have to find a way to continue to stick around with Schwarber. I mean, sure, you got Harper as your go-to, your Trey Turners. I mean, I'm a little bit skeptical about Bone, but I'll get into that before we move on here. Maybe I'll do that for my player spotlight because it feels like Alec Bohm is just like hot and cold. Once he gets cold, he's like legitimately ice cold at the same time too. But the last thing I'll say about Schwarber too is that it would be sad to see him go in free agency if that time has to come for it. But maybe the one thing Dombrowski has to do, the top priority is, if somebody asks about Kyle Schwarber, is he going to be traded or in the trade deadline, or probably if we don't re-sign him at the end of the season, that's going to be the big challenge. That's going to be the biggest. That's going to be the biggest fish in the pond in free agency.
He's not going to get traded. Let's quell that wave.
No.
But here's what I would say to kind of invoke a little bit of optimism to people. I think that John Middleton wants to win a World Series, whether that's this year or going forward.
Right.
And he's not stupid. He knows what Kyle Schwarber means to this team.
That's right.
He's also a guy who pays stupid money, and I'll just use his own words. Stupid money to people. Now, Kyle Schwarber will not be asking for stupid money, but the question you really have to ask, who would you rather retain? JT Realmuto, Ranger Suarez, or Kyle Schwarber.
Good
You
question.
can only have one. You can only have one.
It has to be Schwarber, right?
And Joe, let me ask you this in regards to Kyle Schwarber not negotiating during the season. Wouldn't you rather? And you can answer this question as well too, James. Wouldn't you rather Kyle Schwarber be solely focused on baseball during the season and then worry about the contract stuff in the off season?
Yeah, and I think Kyle sees it that way too. And I think it's not like Kyle's halfway out the door.
Right.
And he's like, "See ya." Like he's not giving any indications that he wants to leave Philadelphia. Actually, he's giving indications quite the opposite. And that's why I feel like the end of the season, he's not going to be like a Juan Soto and say the highest bidder gets me. No, because he's got to know that if he goes to the Texas Rangers or if he goes to, I don't know, like the Seattle Mariners, or he goes like somewhere where it's not like they're not going to be in contention for the World Series. There's a difference. When you're in Philly, he knows two things. He knows that this roster is going to be competitive. That is a certainty. And for any player that's ever looking for a new contract or a place to play, it's being on a team that's competitive.
Yeah. Yeah, no question. And to answer your question too, Connor, about Kyle Schwarber's, maybe this would be a good question to talk about probably towards the end of the season, especially if obviously we're still in baseball season, so I would be sure he's not going to be traded at the trade deadline. I'm not going to be for certain
Oh
of
my
that.
God, no way.
No way, no chance. I mean, if they trade him in the trade deadline, I'm thinking like, dude, you really.
What the hell are you doing?
Yeah, what are you doing, right?
Now the question might be, I brought up the other two people, Ranger and JT.
That's a good question.
JT might not be traded because he's our starting catcher.
Do you think Bohm will be, though? That's a question.
Okay, so we'll get there. But with Ranger, because we have a surplus of starters, it depends on what Dombrowski can get back for Ranger. Because I'm with you that Schwarber's the outright, if I had to pick one out of those three, Schwarber's the outright winner. Like, not even a conversation. And so with Ranger, you want to get equity for him. And you already have a surplus of starters. I mean, right now, with Nola being down, it doesn't seem like it, but we do have still a surplus of starters, and Andrew Painter's not even up here yet.
That's true.
Do I think Alec Baum's going to be traded? I would say this. If there was the right team that would take Alec Baum and Ranger Suarez, and we could get an outfielder that's an everyday good outfielder and a nice bullpen piece, sign me up.
Yeah, and the thing that I thought about it too when you brought up JT, I said to myself is too, I think he might be the one guy that you'll look at and say, maybe one guy that not in the trade deadline, but probably more in the off season, that he might probably go somewhere else. He'll probably because you got a couple catchers in line that could be maybe better, or not better, but okay. But sometimes okay just is not okay. With the Rafael Marchands of the world, or even like a catcher coming up from like either Lehigh or the Double-A team. But yeah, I agree with what you said about with Suarez too. Is that now Andrew Painter look like he's going to be coming up very soon, and now McAble up with the club after Noah's injury. So it'll be something. It'll be something to look out for, especially in these later months, especially. And I gotta say right now, I don't think Noah's coming back this year. I'm gonna keep it 100 here. I don't think Noah's gonna be coming back. I mean, if he comes back, I think he might be. I think he might be either like a bullpen piece. Like even me and you, Joe, talked about it a lot. Maybe move him to the bullpen, maybe
Yeah.
to try to give him some innings here and there, and then try to ship off and ship out Taiwan Walker in the process too. But I mean,
Well, especially if you put Nola in the bullpen, especially coming back from this injury
yeah,
that was much more severe than we anticipated, you can at least control how much you use him in the bullpen. He can
right.
get more rest. He can be more of a a guy that you can lean on. Now, that being said, convincing the players much harder than just saying it should be so. Like,
Mm-hmm.
make it so, and it's like, no, it's not like that because you're paying Nola an awful lot of money, and it's one of the reasons why I think we talked about it before. James is, would Ranger go to the bullpen? I know Frank Finnegan has brought it up
That's a
before.
yes.
That's a good
I
question.
I don't think he will. Not
Really?
He's
after
done
the
it
last.
before.
Yeah, but not after the last 10 starts. I
Yeah.
mean, this is a guy that's giving you 7 strong innings out of the last 10 games he's played in.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, that and then a 1.18 ERA.
Oh wow.
You need a guy that is going to give you 7 strong innings. That's Ranger Suarez. Him doing that out of the bullpen does you no good because you
What?
can only use him 2 days for like what, 2 innings or 3 innings?
How about this? Maybe what we can do is DFA Taiwan Walker, and if Aaron Nola comes back and he's fully capable, and then we can probably put him in the hole. Like I
Let's
mean,
put
I,
the GM room out here, James. If we could DFA Taiwan Walker, we'd have done it by now.
we would have done it exactly.
You
Yeah, yeah,
kidding me?
right, exactly.
I and as much as I love Nola, people who watch this show know I'm a big Nola guy. I just don't think he has the quote unquote stuff to be a relief pitcher because
Hmm.
typically in today's baseball you want your relievers to have 98, maybe a really good curveball or changeup. I mean, I know Nola has a good curveball, but like his fastball's like 94, 95. Um, but I just don't think Nola has really the stuff to be a relief pitcher.
Yeah. I got one more question to ask you guys, and I think we should address the elephant in the room right now. So, Alec Bohm, right? I mean, you think about Otto Kemp, who has been having himself a very good time here ever since he got called up by the Phillies. Now, it feels like Alec Bohm is a little bit up on the fence once in a while. He's good, so there's games that he's good. Look, he's a great third baseman. I think he's great on his defensive side. I think he does a great job throwing the ball, and also how he can throw the ball to first base. I mean, he has a rocket forearm. I'll say that much. But then I see Otto Kemp, and I see Otto Kemp play to the capability that he has been playing at. So now with Harper being here, and now with Otto Kemp still being with the Phillies, what do you do with Alec Bohm?
Well, that's where I think the idea that now I think Otto Kemp just told Alec bye bye.
Hmm.
Like I
That's
honestly
what I'm saying too.
because here's my feeling is that when Harper comes back, Otto Kemp's been batting better than Baum in certain situations.
Mm-hmm.
Now, Alec isn't necessarily flailing at the ball like he did earlier in the season,
Mm-hmm.
but you know that demon can rear its ugly head, that monster can rear its ugly head back around, and I don't want to wait till that shoe drops, nor do I want to stunt out, Otto Kemp's growth. So, and then you also have to keep in mind we have Amundo Sosa, Otto Kemp, Stott, and Turner. Turner basically never takes a day off. When Harper comes back, he basically never takes a day off. So you have 3 players for 2 positions.
Yeah.
See, See, here's where I'm gonna disagree with Joe. I think they're going to put Otto Kemp in the outfield, have Bohm play third, Harper play first, and I think that was Dombrowski's plan once Harper got back. So we'll see how it all shakes out. It's going to be really interesting to see that. I personally like Alex Bohm. I think he's a really good player. He's improved miles from when he was first called up on his defense. So give him credit for that. But this is going to be a really interesting thing to see how this all shakes out.
Well, I'll ask
Yeah, I
you,
agree.
Connor, do you think that instead of Otto Kemp going to the outfield, that you would send Bryce back out to the outfield and keep
Good
Oh,
Otto
question,
there?
Joe.
I
Because he was shagging fly balls on the road trip. So this is a guy who's giving signs that if they're, and he said prior to the season, if Pete Alonso's there and you guys want to bring him in and he's a first baseman, I'll go back to the outfield. If the right player is there for us to have in the lineup, in the field at first base, I will move back to the outfield for
see.
the team.
Here's where I'm gonna say no, only because Bryce is. This might seem like a bit of a stretch to say, but I feel like Bryce has a Gold Glove ceiling at first base, and I don't think with this team having shaky defense at points that you can kind of move away from that. Not that he wasn't a Gold Glove capable outfielder, which he was, but I just don't think you can risk moving him off of first base. That's just my opinion.
Yeah, and I think the other thing too that I mean, it's like yeah and no for me too. I'm in the same boat as Connor here, and I'm in the same boat as probably majority of them. But the reason why I say yeah, it could work, maybe I wouldn't say Bryce Harper, but I would probably think Trey Turner more than anything.
Now,
Maybe
that's
they'll move Trey Turner, then they'll move
yeah.
Harper.
Well, see, that's like I'm down for that plan. Why they haven't pulled the trigger on that plan yet is beyond me. When I
Yeah,
brought up earlier, if they got better an outfielder and a bullpen piece, I'd be satisfied. Well, you can already mitigate some of that outfield, by putting Turner out there. Look,
it can also help your center field position, especially with like the Marshes of the world and also
right.
the Johan Rojas. I mean, yeah, sure. I mean, Marsh is good, but he's hot and cold. Same thing. I mean, even Ricky Patalka brought it up earlier on 97.5's show on Filter with Bill Calarulo. The thing I want to say is too, I think it might be a good fit that maybe Trey Turner could be a good fit, that he could actually be a part of that center field position. I mean, that all depends on what Castellanos does if he comes back next year too, because I think he might be a free agent. That's free agency
No, they still
at the
got
end.
1 year.
Oh,
They
one
still
more
got
year off. Okay,
yeah.
okay.
But
Yeah, I had that
this
mixed up.
is my point. So, Connor, hear me out. So, which outfield team is better, Marsh or Kapler, Rojas at center? Because Marsh and Kapler are platoon. So Marsh or Kapler, Rojas and Castellanos, or Bryce Harper, Trey Turner, and Nick Castellanos. Which tandem is better?
Ooh, that's a good question.
Probably door B. Although one thing to consider, has Trey Turner ever played outfield in like his
Yes.
life?
I think he
Yes.
did. I think it was with the Nationals, right? Dodgers, right?
Oh,
Center field, right?
Mm-hmm.
so
Wow.
yeah, I would go Turner, Harper, and who was the left fielder? Castellanos.
Castellanos.
Castellanos,
Yeah.
yeah. Okay.
Yeah, definitely.
I've had enough of Kepler, man. I've seen enough of Kepler.
Yeah. Kepler. after that starting right fielder quote, for me, he just seems like a bit of a diva. Like I liked him when I liked the signing in the offseason, but
So did I.
after after some of the quotes he's made and blah blah blah
You, you,
in the media, like you can't do that. If you have an issue that's a baseball issue, you know what you do? You go into the manager's office. James or Joe, if you have an issue at hardcore sports, you you talk to you talk to either Mitch or someone else, right? Like that's
right. You
it,
know, the thing is too. This is where, like, you're perfectly right, Connor. Like, if you have a disagreement with something, it's like you're in a band and the drummer continues to screw up once in a while, or the bass is out of tune, or the guitar is out of whack, and sometimes, and then we talk, and then, in a way, it's it's. Have you ever seen the Beatles Get Out series? Like, there was a time when George Harrison was talking to either John Lennon or Paul McCartney about what the positions had made, but the difference was George Harrison walked out and actually quit, but he came back later though before that that roof concert, that historical roof concert that they had. But overall, I do agree. I mean, what Kepler is trying to do. I mean, what he's trying to. I mean, sometimes he's being a wise ass. Sometimes I'm not gonna lie to you, especially all the stuff he's been trying to do. But this, I mean, in a way, it's like he's trying to be like a little bit of a prima donna. Like, in a way, it's like, well, like, it's my way or the highway. But it's like, I mean, dude, show some class a little bit. You're being here to play wherever you need to be played at. I mean, if Topper's putting you either in left field or in center field or even in the right field corner, I mean, that's the thing. I mean, that's how. Like, I mean, if you have a disagreement with that, that's where you have to have a one-on-one with your manager, and also can talk about that, and also can try to talk it out. But the way, I mean, look, Kepler. I mean, I thought it was a good signing. I thought it was a very good signing because it helped out with the left fielder position, especially what you're going to do with, obviously, with Marsh and with Castellanos. The problem is that now it's starting to feel like he's becoming more of a, not want to say cancer in the locker room, but he's becoming a little bit like he's starting to lose my interest about how many times. I mean, and also he's been playing, and I mean, the batting average that he had overall in this last few weeks or so, it's like, why do we continue to put him out there? Because he's just showing you, like, not peanuts, but at the same time, he's not showing like he's capable of, like he hasn't shown a lot of poise the last couple games. I mean, am I right? Or the last couple weeks?
Yeah. I mean,
Yeah.
look, he's under-delivered.
Yeah, exactly. And that's the thing. I mean, and you're here to be the guy that's in left field. I mean, every time when I see that 17 out there, I would wish it was Rhys Hoskins more than Max Kepler. I'll say right now. I mean, look, I understand he was a left fielder. Maybe down the road, give Rhys Hoskins a call and say, hey, you want to come back, and then trade Kepler. You know. I know it's a little far fetched here, but I would actually, you know what? I'll say it right now. If you're not going to put Harper or Trey Turner out there, I'll put Armando Sosa in left field. You know, I'll put him out there to see what he has in store. I mean, just something different. That's all I want. I want something different. I'm tired of the same old song and dance. But speaking of a team of the same old song and dance, as we segue in to our topic of the bullpen, Joe, Connor, I don't know about you guys, but if we have to deal with Matt Strom closing out games in the ninth inning or so, and the next couple games or so, my dad calls him the dentist, but I think he's going to be even more of an anesthetic doctor, because he's going to knock me out, or he's going to drive me crazy that it's going to pull a tooth out without any anesthetic too. So,
Yeah.
you know what I mean?
This real quick before I jump on the bullpen. I just have one more quick thing on Max Kepler.
Sure, go ahead.
This reminds me of the Ricky Waters for who for what thing. It's like,
Good point.
What are you doing, dude? And I know I'm not old enough to remember the Ricky Waters stuff, but it's the same thing. It's like, well, I want to be the starting left fielder. It's like, you play when I tell you to play, where I tell you to play. Like, bro, I'm the manager. If you have a disagreement with me, speaking from Rob Thompson's point of view, let's go in my office, let's handle it, let's hash it out. But he just didn't handle it that way.
In a way, you know what it is? Bryce Huff. You know how him and Bryce Huff and Vic Fangio used to be a little tardiness between those two.
Yeah.
Same kind of thing. Paul George, same thing. I wouldn't say Paul George, but maybe a little bit of Paul George too. Yeah. But no, when I first saw the disagreements of him and Rob Thompson, it reminds me of Ricky Waters. You're absolutely right there, Connor. And I say the other thing that reminds me of is when Bryce Huff and Vic Fangio didn't see to agree to disagree, especially what Vic Fangio wanted him to do, and then out of nowhere he couldn't wait to get the hell out of here. So you know what? If you want to be like that, man, nice to know you, pal.
Yeah.
Good riddance.
For sure. And now
or the Incubus song, nice to know you. Goodbye.
Yeah. Now now getting into this bullpen.
Sure.
There are certain guys I have more confidence in than others. One of those guys being Orion Kirkering. I think he's been an absolute stud out of the bullpen.
Great.
He deserves
the closer role
mentions definitely. But guys like Romano.
Oh God.
Hernandez.
Oh my God.
Why are they Jordan Romano at least has some cachet, but Carlos Hernandez should not be in unless it's
he got
a
DFA
6-1 game and the outcome is kind of in hand.
Joe, who got DFA? I'm sorry, Connor. Who got DFA though, Joe?
Carlos Hernandez got DFA.
Yeah, right. I was gonna say Romano got DFA'd. I was gonna say, when did that happen?
Well, that's good.
Yeah, go ahead, Connor.
These guys, like the Carlos Hernandezes and Jordan Romano, I know he has some cachet, but he really has not lived up to his price tag.
No, he hasn't.
For this Phillies bullpen to be into shape come playoff time, he needs to. So
yeah,
time will tell if that happens.
I know it's just, and then I'm sorry for interrupting, Connor. What were you saying?
I was just gonna say, but I'm not betting on it.
Yeah, right. You know what? If anybody wants to bet on Jordan Romano, just a good example. Trust your gut on that one. Just if it's bad, keep your money. Take the money and run, my friend.
Oh man, definitely.
Yeah, Joe, I'll ask you this question about the one that says everybody loves Ray Romano, but the next thing you know, you want to be like Goodfellas, and we had a problem, and there was nothing we could do about it, So, with Romano, though, how can we... God, I want to try to be nice here about Jordan Romano. I try to be nice with him. I try to be as positive I can be sometimes with him. But, dude, I'm sick of him. I'm tired of him. The way he just every single game, every time when I see him out on the mound, it's like, okay, what are you going to do now, George? Where did he go, George? Where did he go? And out of nowhere, it just, oh my God. It's so I want to be, I want to try to keep it a little PG here because I want to keep my P's and Q's in check. But damn, I'm so damn tired. But damn it, I'm tired of him. I'm so damn tired of him.
I will go one step further.
God damn.
This. So you remember me telling you a couple of years ago about how bad the bullpen was for the Phillies.
Yeah.
And there was a specific nickname that I gave to our closer, Heart Attack Hector Neris.
Heart Attack Hector, Cardiac Enable.
Yeah.
What was Kimbrel's? What was Craig Kimbrel's last nickname? If you can remember.
Now, Kimbrel.
Now, Kimbrel. Wake me up inside, Kimbrel. Oh my God. Save me.
So here's the thing. Romano doesn't have a fancy nickname yet. But let me just make this real clear. He gives me that feeling every time he comes out, like
Oh.
Hector Neris did.
Repulsive Romano. Here we go. Repulsive Romano. That's a good one.
There you
That's a
go.
t-shirt.
It ain't Reclamation Project Romano. That's for damn sure.
Oh, God, no. No way. No way, man. Yeah, I just thought about it right now. I said, we had Cardiac Abe, we had Heart Attack Hector. Yeah, Repulsive Romano. That's a good name. I like
This
that.
is actually a reverse reclamation project because
Yeah,
he has
reverse
some
psychiatry
in,
Romano.
Toronto, and he's just crumbling.
Yeah, or reverse psychiatry Romano.
Yeah. Oh my god. Oh man.
Oh man. But no, continue, Joe. If you have anything, if you have a good nickname, if you have a good nickname, better than those two.
I'm still processing it. I am honestly, I could say Joker Jordan Romano, but that just doesn't seem. That seems like I'm insulting the Joker. But
oh man, now you're talking. Oh, I actually, you know what? Never mind. I was gonna say,
why don't we look into?
I was gonna say Ramon Romano, like a Seinfeld character, is the pool boy, but I said to myself, you know what? Now I'm not.
Now
going
you're
there.
just insulting that guy.
And I'm not gonna go see Ramon too. I gotta see Ramon too.
But let's get into next week or this coming week's games.
Sure, absolutely. Yeah, so this week the Phillies take on the Padres for 3, and they play, I think, they got Cincinnati coming up after this week. Yep. So tonight the Phillies open up 3 against the Padres. So tonight for the Phillies, we got Zach. We were on the mound tonight for the Phillies, so I'm guessing tonight it will go according to plan in the next couple minutes or so. So we'll try to hit the post here before we get out of here. So Zach Wheeler's tonight. Wheel's back on the mound tonight, and he is 7-3 this year, and has a 2.45 earned run average. And he'll be opposed by Matthew Woodron, who, by the way, is a knuckleballer. So we haven't seen that probably since Tim Wakefield and R.A. Dickey. So that'll be something.
Matt Waldron is
Matt Waldron.
It's gonna be fun to watch. I've heard a lot about him. It should be a fun pitching matchup.
Yeah, good pitchers duel. Like the same thing the last couple games with the Phillies. Hopefully the Phillies can get some runs with that knuckleballer too.
Well, keep something in mind with the knuckleball, wild pitch. So if that man's on third, keep eyes peeled and keep on your toes.
Yep. Who's on third? Well, it's who's on first at the old but it's still.
Yeah.
But I don't know who's on third. So. Then tomorrow night at 6:35, the Phillies. Who'll be taking the mound tomorrow for the Phillies will be Christopher Sanchez taking the mound for the Titans, and he has a 6-2 record this year, and has a record of 2.79, an ERA of 2.79, and he'll be opposed by former Phillies pitcher Nick Pivetta. Will be on the mound tomorrow, and his record's actually been pretty good this year for the Padres, 8-2 this year, and has an ERA of 3.36. Pivetta actually having a winning record and actually an ERA 3.36. Whoever this Nick Pivetta is, I wish we could probably bring him in to see what he has in store too.
I go back to when we had Vinny Velasquez, Zach Eflin,
Vinny Bullbots,
and Nick Pivetta. I remember when we had all 3 of these guys. Now, 2 out of the 3 actually have done pretty well since they've left Philadelphia.
They did.
So, it's nice to kind of see that happen. I just don't want another Carlos Carrasco situation.
Oh, good point. Good point. And also Carrasco, when he left, I think when he was with Cleveland, I think he came back and actually resurrected his career with the Mets too along the way too.
Almost won the Cy Young with Cleveland.
Yeah. He actually did pretty well. I think it was 2014, was it? Was it not?
I think so. And like with Nick Pivetta, it's just it's when I did my Phillies and Padres series preview on my channel, and I looked at the stats, I was like, wait a minute, Nick Pivetta has a 3 ERA? Who is this
right?
guy?
That's pretty amazing, right?
Wild.
When I saw Pivetta have a 3.36 earned run average, I said to myself, what is it, opposite day? It's like it's opposite day every day for Pavetta. But to close out the series on Wednesday, that will be at 105. Mick Abel will take the mound for the Titans, and he has a 2-1 record this year and an earned run average of 3.47. And it'll be opposed by Dylan Cease, who's having a really bad year for the Padres. He is 3-7 this year and has an ERA of 4.53 for the Titans. And then they'll be off on Thursday, and then they'll have a 4th of July game that's set for 105 because 4th of July in this town, it's the 249th birthday, so there'll be an early afternoon game, and also you can catch out. You actually can go up to the art museum and see some fireworks for the first time, which I'm not going to be doing because I'm scared of fireworks.
Yeah.
But guys. Overall, this has been a great show. I want to say thank you to everybody who watched our show today. Also, like we always say, hit that like and subscribe button on our channels here too. But Connor and Joe, I think we got something planned on Wednesday or not about another edition of Philly Fame Legends. So what do we have in store on that coming up on Wednesday?
We have a couple different episodes that we're going to record, mostly about Phillies. I feel like we're going to go into Kurt Schilling and some of the 90s guys, the 90s team. So stay tuned for those episodes as they continue to drop on our sister station, Stream Punk Entertainment.
Absolutely. Excuse me. Sorry about that. Connor, I know you have a show on called Sports Live 215. Where can we see you next on that very important program?
YouTube, and we also have Twitter, Instagram, and Facebook. Those are our social medias. So be on the lookout for that. It's Sports Live in the 215 on YouTube, Twitter, Instagram, Facebook. It's the same thing. So turn on those notifications, hit that subscribe button, hit that notification bell, and join the squad.
Yeah, absolutely. Good stuff here by you guys, like we always do. All right, that's going to wrap up this portion of This Week in Phillies Baseball for tonight. We could talk about this for many days, and also we can talk about everything and anything, all things Phillies. But we will be back very, very soon. Obviously, we have a lot of good stuff here on this network. Like we said, hit that like and subscribe button. Like if you did not already, please already do so. Now for Joey Marks, for Connor Ochuida, and for everyone else here on This Week in Phillies Baseball, I'm James Scorza saying thanks for watching, everybody. Thanks for everybody for tuning in. Have a great 4th, everybody. We'll see you on the other side. And stay dry out there and stay well. Until then, we'll see you next time.